So in this class, I'm going to be taking you on how to draft, the jacket pattern correctly. So I'm going to go right ahead and then I'm going to show you the pattern blocks that you'll be needing for your jacket pattern. So we're going to be making use of the back pattern for the upper bodice. We're going to be making use of the two leg gaps, the upper torso front and the upper torso back, and then the sleeve. Now with this one, just watch me and see how I'm going to derive the jacket pattern. So I'm going to trace this one out. This is going to be my pattern that I'll be using to trace all other ones out. Come down here by 5/8 of an inch and you go back here by 1.5. You centralize it and then you redirect your dart legs this way. Just keep following what I am doing and you get it. So this is how it is. This is always a straight, a balanced line. So now, because your jacket is below your waist, because this is just the upper torso here, so we're going to extend from the waist downwards. We're going to extend 10 inches. So this is 10 inches here. Now, wherever you want the length of your jacket to get to is fine. You can go ahead to use it to do it. So this is how it's going to be. And I'm now going to place my hip measurement on that place. So once I do that, then I take my hip curve and connect it to the waist on this level, like that. So you can as well use your dress pattern. So this is how to just create a dress pattern. You can as well use your dress pattern if you have it down, and just make sure you measure the length to where you want your jacket to get to. But this is a much faster way. Just use your two leg dart, place it, on a balanced line, and then extend by 10 inches and place your hip arc measurement front on it. So now we're going to be extending the dart all the way, to the other side. So we're going to look for the middle point of this dart now. Now this is 1.5, the center of it, which is here. We're going to take it all the way down. Now you can see the way I'm placing my ruler. I'm putting this on a square line so that I get a very balanced dart leg, right? So now from here, our own dart is always 2 inches above the hip line, which is here. I go up by 2 inches. Then you connect the line here this way. And I connect this one here this way. So now, because this is a two-leg dart, we need to redirect it, which is this way, here, like this. So this is the center line of it, right? So this is the center line. Now, because we are working on a jacket, you cannot have your dart here. We need to move that dart. Let me keep this one away. We need to close this dart. So it's going to be a princess cut, like a style line jacket. So you're going to measure your armhole. Whatever your armhole gives you, the midpoint of your armhole. So that midpoint is here. You're going to connect it to the bust point. Now that line you connected to the bust point, you have to measure the length of that line. Whatever it gives you, half of it, which is, I'm having 5 3/4 here. So we're just going to bend my tape rule into 2, and that's the center line, center point. At that center point, you square it up by 3 strokes, which is 3/8. So this is where my 3/8 is. So just square it up from this line like this. I hope you're getting it. So once you square it up like that, then you take your curve ruler and then you draw your curve out. Now this ruler sometimes might not really give us the exact curve we want, but you just try to make sure it works for you. So now we want to achieve. So that's how it looks like, right? Now, because it is a jacket is not meant to be fitted like at the dart point. So this is 1.5 inch opening. All we're going to do now, we're now going to mark it. Whatever we have here, we have it. That's 2 points. This half of it. This side, so you make it half of it, right? So once you've located the half of those two opening, you redirect it back to where your dart apex is and the dart end, and put it back up like that. So it's going to be like this. And this goes this way too, just the same. So the reason is we want to make sure the dart is reduced. Now, this is our jacket pattern here, right? At the shoulder, we are going to come out by 1/2 inch, okay? 1/2 inch at the shoulder level. Just extend your shoulder by 1/2. Can we see? So what we are going to do now is, I'm going to cut open the pattern now. So let me show you where we are going to cut open. We're going to cut, now we're not going to touch, this is the place we are going to be removing now from the pattern when we want to cut it out, okay? All this place is going away like this here, right? So when we now want to cut our pattern, it's going to be like this. We're going to cut it from here like this, right? And then you go this way. Just follow the curve that way. We're going to cut out into panels. Like this is going to be panel 1 and this will be our panel 2. We're going to be extending here by 1/2, which I have done here. Then we're going to blend it back to the mid armhole here like this, okay? So that's how it's going to be. So now we're going to cut it out and follow it that way like this. So now we've gotten this right now. So the next thing we want to be able to create is the lapel area, right? So what we're going to do, you're going to place this your pattern on another paper, right? So what we're going to do on that paper is we're going to measure from the edge of this paper here. This one that I have here, we're going to measure 1 inch inwards this way. We're going to measure 1 inch. That is going to be the button and the lapel allowance. I'm making sure I move down well because I want to be able to create my collar for the back neck from this portion. So I'm going to do it this way. Can we see? So I'm going to secure it down there at the center front, okay? And then I cut off that way. So now I've secured it. The next thing I'm going to do now is I am going to go ahead to prepare my lapel. So now on this edge of my neck, I am going to go extend it outward like here at the neck, inward by 1 inch, okay? So it's 1 inch extension here. Can you see? 1 inch. So that 1 inch now, wherever you want your lapel to fold over, whether you want it at the waist level, your opening of your lapel, or you want it at just below your bust, wherever you want. I usually like my own blazer jacket to be from the waist. So what you will do is that 1 inch extension here, I'm going to connect it to this waist level at this extension of my one for button here. So it's going to go like this to this place point. It's going to go like that. So I'm going to bring it, sorry my ruler is not as long as like this, okay? So it's going to be like this, right? So that's not all. So now we are going to create, you're going to extend it because this is your 1 inch here. So what we're going to do, this is going to be your fold line, right? So you're going to fold your jacket here to see, just make sure you fold it on that line that you drew as the extension, right? Fold it like that here. So once you folded it, you just want to be able to create that line. It's a guide for us. So once you've done it like that, right? What we're going to do now is we are now going to trace, use your tracing wheel to trace the neck here, neck area from that fold line. You trace it like this, right? So that you can see it at the other side of the paper. So it's going to come like this. Can you see? Because I'm seeing it now. At the other side of the paper, it's coming this way, right? So you follow the trace line that I traced there. So now that's not all. So from this fold line, we're going to measure 3/4 of an inch here, like this. So this is going to be like, we're going to measure 1 inch here. Once you've measured your 1 inch here, right, you take your ruler and make sure that your ruler is square, is like it's standing a square line on this your fold line. And it's then touching this point, and then you extend however wide you want it to be. But I want my own to stop on this exact point here. So this is how my lapel is going to look like, the shape. So this place is 1 inch, and then you extend it, you know, to the end of that paper. You can make your own lapel wider. All you need to do is just sellotape more paper here, right, to extend it. Right? So once you've done like that, then I am going to now point, this line here is going to show on the other side. So that point is called where the back neck collar is going to, you know, come into it. So now we've done the lapel side. Now the next thing now is to go and create our back neck. Now we are going to take our back pattern, right, just the back neck. We're going to measure it. So I'm measuring my back neck to be 3 3/8. We're going to square a line from the actual neck of this pattern, not the extended one, the actual neck. You square it all the way up, right? When you square it all the way up, you put your back neck measurement on it, which is, mine is 3 3/8. So it's going to be here. This is where it's going to be, right? So once it's there, you're now going to square out a line at that point where I marked as the length of my back neck. Square out a line like that. So as I square out that line too, on this same line that is 3 3/8 of my back neck, I will have it, halfway of it. That is where I'm going to put here now. I'm going to mark halfway of it. And then on this final line, I'll come, you know, backwards like here by 1/4 inch. That's 2 strokes. And then you now curve it and blend. It could be a straight line. You can just blend it to the mid neck and back neck here. Once I have done that, now my collar at the back can be as much as 3 inches wide. So I'm working with 3 inches. You can make your own wider however you want it. So that 3 inches now that I place on this line, I will then connect it, right, to the end of my lapel here. Let it connect totally. Can you see? I've connected it here, right? So that's not all. On that line, you have to go back by 3/4 inch. So I'm going back by 3/4 inch here. So that 3/4 inch now, you take it and then it goes into this, you know, that point that I marked, right? So this is going to be this whole pattern here that I'm going to shade like this. Can you see my shading? Is going to be my back, the collar that is going to go from the back to come and enter the front, right? That's how it's going to be. So this one is just the back collar. So I have been able to successfully create the back collar from this pattern. Then I can cut it out from here. Can you see what I'm doing? Right? So I'm cutting it out from there like that, following the original neck and coming back like this. So I'm going to keep this aside and I'm going to label it my collar, my jacket collar. So I'm going to keep it aside, right? So now this is how it's going to be like. This is how the jacket will look like. And if this is coming from, now because, you know, I cut it out from here like this, right? Then this is going to be my shoulder point. You know that this is the shoulder point. So that means automatically when I wear it, it's going to look like this. This is going to come in here and this is going to be like that. Do you get like the collar neck? So now we've done this and then we're going to remove this part too, that 3/4 inch that I removed up from there. So it's going to be like this when you sew it. It's going to be like this. Can you see? It's going to be like this when we sew that. Okay, so it's going to be like that, right? Now you're going to keep your jacket aside. Now we're going to concentrate on this bodice now. We are going to go ahead and separate it into panels. So all we do is this. So I want to separate this into panels. You're going to cut from the line here and then follow this line and cut it on this line here, this way, following it this way, following it this way, and cutting, following the curve princess line this way. So that's how it's going to be. Now this is our panel 1 here, so I have to, let me just cut away the back one so that it stays. Okay, so this is our panel 1 for the jacket here. We'll put it aside. Now this is our panel 2. So this is not all. Now this panel 2, we're going to cut it also, but following this smaller, you know, the dots that we have reduced. That's what we're going to cut out, like this, and follow it all the way, you know, to the first point. So we're discarding this. So we have to close it and transfer that excess elsewhere. This is how to close it. What you do is first you slash a line from here to where that point is. From the boss point, slash it up to that point, but don't let it pass it. And then we'll slash any of these lines and then stop to at that point, and then we close it this way. Can you see how we close it? So I'm closing that point. Our excess has gone to this part, right? So I'm going to use the paper tip to secure it. This line touches this line here, and then we'll secure it with a paper, sellotape. That way. We will now place this one on another paper again so that we can blend this point together. So you're going to just use your paper tip to also still secure it down. Let me do it this way. Just secure it down so that it doesn't move, right? So after securing it, just take your you measure at the lower opening a 1/4 inch. So I'm measuring a 1/4 inch like that. You curve it back to the waist here like this, right? Just take it back to the waist this way, like this. Because it's a jacket, it shouldn't be contoured, it shouldn't be curvy too much. And then we'll connect this back to this point here, okay, like that. Shouldn't be too curvy. So this is how it's going to look like. So this is going to be our final pattern 2. We're now going to cut it out. Since we don't need this part of the paper, we just need that bust area, so I'll just cut it off this way. Right, I hope you get what I mean. So it's going to be like this, right? So we just cut it well, cut it out, and blend that point well. Don't make it sharpy and curvy. It should just be curvy, it should not be sharp. So this is what we now have. So finally, we're now going to have our final patterns for our front jacket, which is this place, right? So it's like this. And then the back collar is here this way. So when you want to sew, you're just going to add this together, and then so this is going to be our front pattern, for the jacket. So for my back pattern, I'm going to do the same way I did the front. All I'll do is just place my paper like here, because the edge of my paper is already straight. So I'm going to start from here. I'll trace it out. I'll first of all draw my square line as it's supposed to be, so that my pattern is balanced. So I draw the square and I place my pattern on top of that square line this way, right? So, and then I'll trace out my pattern, right? I'm tracing it out that way, like this, like this. So I'm going to mark my dot point so that I don't, miss it. So it stops here, yeah? So the next thing now is, because I've done I'm going to connect the dots that I traced out on the pattern. So this is what we are working with, like that. Sorry, let me just remove this line so it doesn't confuse you. We don't need the line. That was what I wanted to use initially, but we don't need this line here. So this is what we're working with, our upper body's back pattern. It's an extension of 10 inches below the waist. So this is 10 inches below the waist like this. Can you see? Here. Then I'll square that out also. So once I've squared that, I'm going to now place my hip at back. So you're now going to connect it with your hip ruler to, the back here like that. So having done that, we are now going to look for the middle of our dart, and the middle of this one is here. you will take it all the way up and down, like, you know, to complete your that drawing properly like that. So this one too, I take it all the way, balance it well. This is my dart. Then you come up 2 inches from the hip line, which is here, and then we'll connect it back like this. So just the same way we did the front, right? We are now going to now come here, these 2 points, you get the center of it, which is here. Here too, we get the center of this, which is here. And then we'll connect it back here. Like this. Like this. Like this. And like that. So when we want to cut out, right, we're going to be removing this point, because your jacket is not meant to be that contoured, like too contoured. So on the center back, you go in by 1/2 inch here. So when you go in by 1/2 inch, you connect it to the hem line of your jacket here, and you connect this 2 back to the neck area. Now don't forget that in the front pattern we came out by 1/2 inch. The same way here too, we're going to come out, extend the shoulder by 1/2 inch. So once we extend it this way, you blend it back to the armhole like this. When you're blending, you blend it to your mid armhole back, the mid armhole back. Now we're also going to discard this. We're going to cut away this place too. It gives it a shape at the back of the jacket. It curves the back in. It gives it a very flattering shape. So we just go from the neck this way, like this. So this is a basic jacket. Cut out that side so now you know the front is in panels. We also want to put this one in panels. So just the same way we achieved for the front, we're going to do that for the back. So just measure the armhole at the back here, right? And then once we measure the armhole, the midpoint of that armhole, connect it to the dart here like this, right? Once you connect it to the dart, just measure, you know, the length of the dart. This is 6. The center of it will give us 3, and then we come out by 3 strokes also here. Now that 3 stroke is just a guide so that you do not curve it too much or make it flat. So you just place your curve here like this. Just make sure it's not too roundish. You place it here and then you draw, you know, to the armhole. So now we're going to cut into panels. This is panel 1 for the back. So we call it B1 and B2. So I'm cutting it out. Now I'm going to cut it out. I'm following this line this way. I hope you can see that. And I'm following that curve like this all the way to the armhole. So these are panel 1. And then I'll cut away this side too, the shaded parts, like that. Wow, can you see? So this is our jacket pattern for the back. So this is our jacket pattern for the back here, and this is our jacket pattern for the front here. Can we see? This is amazing, right? This is super, super amazing. So this is it here. This is our jacket pattern, you know, for the back. And here is the collar. This is the collar here. Can you see how beautiful it is? So like I said, this class is not for beginners. So if you're going to cut your on fabric, your fabric will be on fold, and then you place this on it. Whatever allowance you want to put, but this is just your exact measurements that you are bringing out. Then you put your allowances to cut, and then your jacket is set. So let me just show you how it looks like if I'm going to join the back neck together with this the front neck. So like I put it together at the shoulder. Can you see it? This is how it will look. Now if I'm going to sew my back neck, you know, it's coming from like this. This is the collar. So I'm going to put it like this, the shoulder. Can you see the shoulder line there? And then this comes and ends inside here, this marking here. So by the time you wear it and then you fold it, this is going to fold along. So it's going to look like this, like your jacket will actually, you know, fold over here like this. It's going to fold over. So this is your back neck. So the jacket is going to look like this. Can you see? And this is the back and that's the front there. So it's going to look like this. So if you want your own, like your lapel to be wider than this, you are very free to allow it, you know, broader, like your lapel. So can you see how the neck, you know, fits in there now, like that? So this is just a basic jacket pattern. I hope you enjoyed the class. Please comment, send in your reviews and your feedbacks, and feel free to ask me any question. Thank you. So for the jacket sleeve, it's just simple. Take your normal sleeve block, your actual sleeve block, and come in by 2 inches here, like this, right? So this is my sleeve block. Come in by 2 inches and connect it back all the way, you know, up. You discard this part. So it's going to give you that shape. Now, because you know that when you're cutting your sleeve, this like this, so this is going to be the sleeve for your jacket, like this.